up, everybody? I'm Sal Kalani. This is Reggie Steele. And welcome to Spitballin. Spitballin.
Hell yeah, people do that, man. I saw a thing on for cyber, no, not cyber, but Black Friday, where the doors open and people rush in like it's running of the bulls, right? Diving over mounds of stuff, right? This lady, this Black woman has two big boxes, right? And then her kid has one box. This white lady came up, was like, she saw the kid. She just took that shit. She took that shit from the kid, bro. I was like, whoa. And then the mom was like, oh, hell no, don't you? And they tussling. She got two boxes, fighting for a third box. Now, look, I'm not upset with the lady for taking the package, right? I'm upset with her taking it from the kid, right? You can't take it from a little kid. Come on, the kid.
I mean, you shouldn't take it from anybody.
You shouldn't take it from anyone. But yo, if you're gonna take it from someone, take it from the mom, right?
But it's easier from the kid.
It is, but come on, man. You can't take it from people are gonna fight you. If you take it from the kid, it's gonna be a fight, right? So yeah, man, Black Friday, people still going crazy over stuff, right? Like,
what's up, everybody? I'm Sal Kalani. This is Reggie Steele.
And welcome to Spitballin', where we get it popping.
Yeah, I didn't know that was still going on, dude.
Yeah, man. It's a thing. It still exists in the world, and people are out ready to spend their money, on discounts.
Crap. Unlike, $30 off items. On what? The big garbage. Now I'll do the online. I order stuff online and have it sent because it's on sale. Well, I ain't waiting outside and no damn line. I thought that shit was done. I thought we were because a lot of the companies stopped doing it on Thanksgiving. And
dude, wait, hold up though. No, they didn't stop doing it on Thanksgiving. They doubled up. I mean, they've doubled down.
I just know I had a friend who worked for like Target, right? So he'd always, his Thanksgivings would be ruined for a decade. And then but then recently people stopped because they kept pushing it back. It was Black Friday, it was 5 a.m. Then it was midnight before. Then people started lining up right after Thanksgiving dinner, Thursday evening. So then a lot of the places I thought are like, no, we're not open till Friday now.
No, they've taken it a step further, bro. As you said, it was like Thursday, it was midnight on Thursday, and then Thursday, whatever. Dude, they now have it's like Black Wednesday, right? Black Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving. So you can come in and kind of get ahead of the curve for Black Friday. The thing, look, man, I just buy shit when I need it. I'm not waiting for a 30% off discount for the later. It's like if you need it, you go buy it, and if take your receipt back later and have them adjusted if you need to be. But I'm not finna wait in line and then run into a place and fight with people for stuff that I'm gonna throw away in 7 months. Right? Right?
Look, dude, this says online. It says Walmart was closed. It's closed on Thanksgiving. It opened 6 a.m. on Friday.
Yep, but they had Wednesday. It's like Black Friday, Purple Wednesday. I don't know what it is. It's it's something, but they had deals on Wednesday. They trying to get them dollar bills, y'all. They trying to get that money out your pocket.
Dumb, dude. Yeah, I'm not
well,
into
people,
it too much.
People trying to get their Christmas shopping in, man. Now you got
Cyber
Monday.
I guess that's cool. I guess I just don't do that enough.
But today is Cyber Monday, right? Yeah, I don't do it.
Yeah, but even that, dude, I got this deal. And it was the weed accessory deal. They sent me an email, and they go Black Friday sale starting now from midnight to 6 a.m. And I was like, so what?
Wait. What? Black Friday deal? That's not even Black Friday. That's Saturday morning.
No, it's Black Friday morning. It was
you mean Thursday midnight.
Yeah. So I woke up Friday and I was like, what's this email? And I'm like, this shit ended 2 hours ago.
You're like, damn, I missed Black Friday. From midnight to 6 a.m. They're going for the diehards.
Yeah, that was so that then I learned that was a 30% time slot, and then it was like then it was 25%. But even that, it was like a couple bucks, and I was like, it's stupid. I don't, you know what I mean? I'll do it when I feel like it. I'm not changing my time on your sale.
I'm not
Time
gonna
is
lose
the
my
most
valuable
important.
sleep to be
Yeah,
buying some stuff,
yeah,
spending my money for
yeah.
30% off. But hey, man,
But, yeah.
people are serious about it, man. Like I just said, there was a woman snatching packages from little
So were
kids,
the
man.
kids? So did you? Where'd you see this fight? Did it keep happening? Who won? Did the kid
You know,
get
it's
his box back?
well, it's an Instagram thing. It's an Instagram
Okay.
thing where you see the clip, right?
You sure it
And
was this year? It was new.
oh, it was new. Oh yeah, this was brand new. Yeah, this is new.
Where was it? Do you know?
I don't know. I don't know what store. All I know is that it came on. They were like, man, these Black Friday situations out of control. And you just see
That's
people
funny,
do.
man.
I'm talking about the door. It was like the doors open. And people tripping over stuff, boom, 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 diving for shit, right? And you just see the lady standing there with her 2 boxes, and the little kid got one. And the white lady came up, she did the math. She was like, big woman with 2 boxes, little person with 1 box.
That is crazy. I mean, first off, that's a little greedy of the first person. It'd be just, but I don't know what they had.
I mean, I was gonna say, you don't know what her family's like. She's like, I gotta get this for all. I got 8
they should have
kids at
showed
home.
up. They could have held on to it better. They brought the youngest one. Them little
Yeah,
arms ain't holding no box.
Yeah, they did bring the youngest one. I feel so bad for the kid.
So
But,
then what happened? Like they get it back? What happened? Was there an end
the
to
mom
it?
and the mom and the lady started tussling. The Black mom was like, "Give me that box back!" And she hold it while she got the 2 boxes. She's trying to get the third box, and the lady like, they go back and forth. And then the white lady slipped. She slipped, and then she kind of dropped the package. And then it was like, all right, it's a free fall. Once she dropped that package, then you can see the other hyenas coming in. They're like, "Oh,
Damn.
free package!" So yeah, man, it was crazy. Shout out to anybody out there who waiting in Black Friday, who survived Black Friday, waiting in line to go buy some junk.
Yeah, like my friend, his family would go up to go out of town for Thanksgiving because he couldn't celebrate Thanksgiving because he'd get up in the morning, do his thing, but then he'd have to go work. Like he'd have to be there like at noon.
Oh, damn.
And then he would come out with a megaphone and have to tell all the people on the sidewalk to settle the fuck down.
I'm sure he said it like that too. Everyone.
Well, he was like, "Hey, we're not gonna
settle
have
the
any
fuck
problems
down
today." He was really proud of you. Tell me, like, "Hey, we kept everyone in line last night. No running in my store."
Nice. Yo, man, I did not work Thanksgiving. I could have, but I did not work Thanksgiving. It's a triple payday. But the experience is way better, way more valuable than the money, right? You get a couple dollars, you're going to end up giving it to Chase or Citibank or to your landlord or to Best Buy
just
or
numbers, right?
Safeway or Whole Foods. Yeah, you're going to give it away, but the experience lasts a lifetime.
So listen to this, folks. So Reggie, everybody, Reggie Snob Steele had his Thanksgiving meal catered.
Well, it's
catered.
I bought the food already cooked. You bought your food raw. I bought mine cooked. What's the difference? We both bought food.
Right? I mean, well, it won't be as fresh. It won't taste as fresh. No,
it was delicious.
So where was this service?
There's a place here in Oakland on College Ave called Market Hall. And they had a whole menu, like a whole list of foods that are available for Thanksgiving, and you could pick out whatever you wanted, and you put your order
just go
in.
Pick it up that morning or something.
No, not Thanksgiving morning. You have to get it the day before. You get it the day before, and then it comes in these big things covered in foil, and then they give you cooking instructions because it's not like you're buying it hot.
Right, you just throw it in the oven.
Yeah, you throw it in the oven. And voila, Thanksgiving. not voila, but voila, Thanksgiving.
What did you have there? What'd you pick out?
Oh, well, you got to have the classic. I mean, come on, man. It's Thanksgiving. You got to have stuffing.
Tofurkey?
Stuffing.
No.
And gravy. No, stuffing, gravy, cranberry sauce. You got to have something that's like yams
Check,
of some
check,
sort,
check.
sweet potato mash or yams. Like in this case, it was like sweet potato mash kind of, and then everybody else wants mashed potatoes. The whole world loves mashed potatoes except for me. I'm kind of like mashed. I can look if I don't eat mashed potatoes. If I went to Thanksgiving dinner and there was no mashed potatoes, I can go anywhere in the world and there's no mashed potatoes. There's not one point where I go, hey, where the mashed potatoes? I need mashed potatoes. I'm good on mashed potatoes, but
You
you give me the
crazy,
string
dude.
beans.
Mashed potatoes are awesome. You got your mind, man. Out of your damn mind.
I got sweet potato mash. That's way better.
It's
Sweet
good, but
potatoes,
sometimes it's too sweet. I don't need that. It's its own thing. I like
sweet
the mashed
potatoes are
potato
better
as a
for you.
compliment.
Sweet
Yeah, well,
potatoes
you
are
can have
better for
both.
you. Sweet
Hey.
potatoes are better for you.
Yeah,
Okay.
is gravy better for you?
You're damn right. Gravy's better for you too. Makes me feel happy. Makes my soul sing.
I have a glass of gravy with 2 whole meat cubes.
For those who don't know, that's a shout out to an old joke I used to do about being in Alabama and nobody drinking water. No one drinks water. I was like, man, it's like I don't drink no water, Red. That ain't me. I'll milk with that water. I said, well, what do you drink? He goes, I drink Kool-Aid and gravy. What? Gravy? And then Sal was like, yo, you gotta throw in the it's like throw in the gravy with like and hold the meat cubes.
Never worked.
Never worked. Never worked, not once. I was like, damn, y'all drinking gravy? He's like, yeah. He's like, I like my gravy, I like my gravy fresh, but hold the meat cubes. It just never resonated. No one ever got that. It was
That's like my one
ice
joke.
cubes.
I used to love to tell that never worked, where I was like, my dad my dad wasn't the most open-minded. Like he was against integration. Like he didn't even want a black and white TV. He
I
just
love
wanted
that.
he just wanted an and white TV.
I love that because the and white was just my part, right? That was the tag. I was like, dude, I love that joke.
It never worked. No one ever liked
I
it.
do not care. I'm like, I always said, I was like, man, Sal ain't sell it. I was like, you gotta
Man,
believe it.
I
Like,
I sold that shit up and down the coast. Nobody wanted
man,
it.
my dad was so racist. You can say my dad was racist. You didn't want to say he was racist though, but you're like, my dad was anti-immigration. I mean, not immigration, but
Integration.
integration. To the point, my dad did not want black people and white people to come together so badly that he did not even want a black and white TV. This dude was like, I would just like, he go to the store, he's like, so you got an and white TV?
Yeah, that's my favorite part because it's so
That's my favorite.
stupid. Like who would put the conjunction first? And
Exactly.
white, but
And white TV.
never. People
You
just
got a
stare
white,
at you like, what the
you gotta
fuck is
sell
wrong
white
with
and
you?
white TVs. I'm looking for the white and white TV, right? They're like, but sir, there's no contrast. It'll just be a blank screen, or just a white blank screen. Perfect. That's all I need to see is just a white screen.
Oh, man.
So yeah, man. But then also you gotta have string beans and Brussels sprouts. And
Brussels sprouts, where the fuck that doesn't belong on the Thanksgiving menu?
dude, Brussels sprouts with pecans is legit. And then of course a meat, right? Turkey's terrible. I'm just gonna throw that out there right now.
The
Turkey,
hell is wrong with you? You're against turkey and mashed potatoes? Those are the main things.
dude, turkey.
You like playing football
sucks.
without the ball.
Turkey sucks, bro. I don't care.
What is wrong with you?
Dude, turkey sucks. I don't care what anybody says. You can fry it, you can bake it and baste it and do whatever else you want, put whatever juice on top of it. It is dry and atrocious.
That's because you don't know how to cook it. Mine wasn't dry. Mine was moist, son.
Mine was moist. Yo,
you just don't know how to cook that shit.
Dude, that's all you. Give me chicken. I'll take, if I gotta have a bird at Thanksgiving, I'll take a
Turkey,
chicken.
you're out of your mind.
Give me chicken.
So
what did you ham.
what meat did you have? Ham?
I had ham.
You man, that's get the hell out of here.
Ham was delicious.
You don't even celebrate Thanksgiving, man.
Glazed, honey glazed ham.
That's Christmas time.
Honey glazed ham. Oh,
I mean, I do like that. Don't get me wrong.
And the rolls, the soft rolls that you cut in half and put some ham in there. Good. Now, look, I will say this. Okay, I'm not a fan of turkey on Thanksgiving. Like, I like turkey and sandwiches throughout the year.
Yes, what the hell's your problem? What are you talking about?
after Thanksgiving, I am okay with the turkey sandwiches. You give me the soft rolls with the turkey in there and put some cranberry sauce.
And
Now,
stuffing.
Maybe a little bit of stuffing. You make like a little Thanksgiving sandwich.
Yeah, dude, that's what I did.
I can get down with that. I can get
shit's
down
the
with that.
best.
What did you have
That's
for yours?
The best. Yeah, I did. Well, I made my turkey. Just did a turkey breast, which is still pretty damn big, and it lasted me 3 days.
Whatever.
You're
cheating. You're cheating.
Cheating.
Just the breast. That's cheating. You're not doing the whole turkey.
How many? Dude, I didn't have a party.
Don't stutter.
I can't eat all that food. It's too much. I'm not gonna waste. I'm not wasteful.
Okay. All right.
And
so turkey breast.
yeah, and then plus you got the mashed potatoes. I had the yams. I just didn't feel like cooking them because I was like, I already got the other starch. And then
you didn't cook the yams,
green beans. I did. I throw little apples in there with them. Cranberry sauce. I made gravy for the first time because I forgot to buy it. And dude, it was really easy. It was really good. Flour. You just do butter and flour, then you add the turkey juice, and oh man, it was good. And man, dude, this thing was already, it was like marinated and stuff, so it was already really good and moist. And and cornbread stuffing, which is
cornbread stuffing.
This is easy. I'm not getting crazy with it, but they sold it at Trader Joe's, dude, and it takes like 10 minutes to make, and it's amazing. It tastes just like the real deal Holyfield.
Nice. So you got your fill on. Basically, you had a good Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and then making the sandwiches, like you said, the next day, and I'll put the stuffing on with the cranberry. And see, and that's another good thing they got at the Trader Joe's. They do the cranberry with a little orange in it, so it makes it a little better. Because cranberry, come on, man, that's what you could say. That's not that good. That sucks. It's so tart. Like it's a compliment.
I like the tartness.
Who's sitting there just eating it by itself? Like when I was a kid, all we had was a can. What are you eating? Like slices? Like you eat the canned shit? Like what?
No, I don't eat the canned shit, but I do. Who was it? I was talking to somebody, and we were talking about. I was talking to a guy at work, and we were talking about Thanksgiving and cranberry sauce. And it's like, yeah, but it's got to be the cranberry sauce out the can where you go, and it just.
That's disgusting. It pops out. That was the worst stuff.
And it's all gelatin. Like it's like
you can see the rims from the can.
The ridges from the can. Yeah, man. That's the old school.
Yeah, we used to have that all the time. It was gross.
Gotta get back to your roots, man.
Hey, another thing I never did that people I noticed when I started going over their houses for Thanksgiving is when they put the marshmallows on the sweet potatoes. And I'm like, it's kind of sweet enough. What are you doing here?
Yeah, my mom used to make, no shit, my mom would make 2 casserole dishes of the sweet potatoes, right? And on one, she would put the marshmallows and pineapples in it. People love that.
That's really, wow, yeah.
Yeah. She would do that, but I don't like pineapples. I don't eat marshmallows. I've never liked marshmallows. I don't eat them now. Texture-wise, it don't make any sense. I can't understand them. I'm like, I'm good. But she would make another one.
What about a s'more, bro? You ever have a s'more?
Nope, I don't eat s'mores. I don't eat s'mores.
It's fucking crazy.
Remember you had the bonfire years ago with the marshmallows? Yeah,
you were roasting them with me. I thought you had one.
Yeah, it's fun to burn up marshmallows, right? Just burn them up.
Eat them, not just burn them.
Nope, not eating them. But then she would make another casserole dish that was just for me. That's how much my mom loved me. She would make 2 dishes, one for everybody else, and then one for me. And that one, no marshmallows, no pineapple.
Here you go, spoiled son.
That's what happens when you're an only child, dude. That's what happens. You get all the love. They don't have to pretend like they love all you guys equally. Right? They're like, this is the only one, he gets all the love. I don't have to now try to divvy up the love and then be like, no, I don't have a favorite. I love you all equally. Yeah, right. But in your heart of hearts, you're like,
it's funny when I
ain't fucking with that little one.
I remember when I was a kid asking my mom that stuff, like, who do you love more?
See, I never had to ask that. I never had to ask that question. Even I feel bad that as a kid you asked that question. Mom, who do you love more? Me or my sister or my brother? Well, your brother's adopted and he needs a lot of love, right? Because his parents gave him up. So he feels unloved. So are you saying you love my brother more than you love me? No, I'm just saying that if I only got a big bowl of love and your brother needs a big portion of that love, doesn't mean that I love him more. It just means that he needs a lot more love. You and your sister, you guys get the last part equally. Like,
That also would be like, what happens when you die? What happens to us when we die, Mom?
what would she say? I got to hear this. What would she
You
say?
go to heaven.
That was it.
Yeah.
She didn't say anything about the body decomposing,
Hell
sitting
no.
in
You
a
go
box
to
rotting,
you go to heaven. That's it.
turn to dust. And then at the end, at the very end on Judgment Day, all the dead people rise up, and you just go to heaven. That was it. She didn't say
Depressing,
anything
dude.
else.
When you're a kid and you first realize about death, you're like, oh fuck. This shit's
Yeah.
this shit's fine.
Hold on. Let me ask you this: do you remember your first funeral? I remember mine. What was your first funeral? How old were you?
I don't know. I do know my mom's brother, Uncle Jim, died of lung cancer, and I do remember it was the open casket, and I was just sitting there staring at the body, like, look at that dead body. I'm like, it looks like the dude, but it ain't moving. It was a trip, dude.
That's funny.
I never touched it or anything. Like
Yeah.
even with my brother. Oh, today was my brother's birthday, dude.
Oh,
And
okay.
it would have been he died for like, I don't know, 4 years ago now.
How old would
And
he have been today?
yeah, well, he died, yeah. Like September of this year or 4 years ago. But he
How old would he have been though?
54
Oh
today.
wow, wow. He was
Today. So
today.
he's
Wow.
50
Okay.
when he died.
Jeez, you're just starting to figure some shit out.
But what the fuck were we talking about?
Well, you're talking about seeing the dead body, and you're sitting there looking at it like
Oh
it's not
yeah, and I
moving.
didn't touch it or anything. My
You didn't
mom's like,
touch
"You
it.
touched the body?" I was like, "No, why the hell would you? Who wouldn't go around touching bodies?" And I'm all against the wake. I'm just like, "Yo, I'll take your word for it.
How
You
old were
ain't got to
you?
show me."
That's funny. How old were you?
Oh, I don't know, under 10,
Okay.
maybe 10, maybe you know.
My first funeral, which is funny in my head. Whenever I think about a funeral, the first word that pops in my head is a wedding. I always mix up weddings and funerals. But my first funeral was Walter, my mom's husband, who was my dad as a kid. Um, he died when I was in third grade. He had lung cancer and it spread to his liver. And this is why I don't really drink or smoke heavily, because my mom, when I asked, I was like, what's wrong with it? She's like, well, he got cancer in his lungs because he used to smoke when he was young. And then and he used to drink until it spread to his liver because his liver was weak. And I was like, okay, so drinking and smoking lead to death. Check. I was like, check. Cool. I'm good on both of those.
That's funny.
True story. So he passed away, and open casket funeral. We're down in the country, down in Tuscaloosa, like, whatever, outside of Birmingham. Alabama, Greenbow, Alabama. And open casket, same thing. I remember walking by the casket, got in line with everyone else. And I'm looking at him, and it's the same thing where it's like, okay, for me, it kind of resembled him, but they look different, right?
Because right. No, yeah, that's the worst thing about it. It's definitely like sunken in more. And that's what I hate about cancer, because cancer makes people not look like who they once were.
Right. It kind of robs you of your vitality and even just your substance in life. But he was I remember seeing him laying there, and I was just like, yeah, I don't like this. So once we passed him, I was like, can I go outside? My mom went inside and she's like, you can go outside. So then for the rest of the funeral, as a little kid, I was just outside playing in the dirt, like playing with sticks and doing whatever else. And I'm gonna tell you, man, that had a profound effect on me. I didn't go to funerals after that. I missed a lot of funerals of people that I loved growing up, because I was like, I just didn't like how it felt. And then one day as I got older, or one day as an adult, because what I tried to do was, I was like, yo, if I don't see them in that capacity, then for me, they're kind of always alive. Like the last image I have of them is them being alive. But it was in conflict with me knowing that they had passed, right? So then I realized that the funeral really is it's not for the dead, but it's for the living. And it's our way of having closure, right? To bring it to the end. Like, you see them, we close the casket, we know that, scene, game, set, match, it's over, right? So what happened was, I realized I didn't have that closure. And I remember this when I lived in my studio apartment in Oakland. I woke up one morning by myself, and all the years of like kind of holding on to these images of people that I loved that were no longer here, that I couldn't reach out to. When I say it came bubbling up, dude, I got up and I just cried like a baby. I'm talking about like,
what triggered it?
it was just it was a thought of, missing my Uncle Pip, who was my next door neighbor who I love dearly, and then my Uncle OG, and my Uncle Johnny, and then my cousin Bernice, who was phenomenal. Like as a kid, she was like the first cousin that really showed genuine interest and care in me, like in a certain way, right? Like took me under her wing and showed me around, really made me feel like seen and appreciated. And she passed away from cancer. And so in my head, there was this idea of them being alive, but I knew they weren't. And so there was a reckoning. I had to have this moment where I actually mourned their loss, their passing, right? Because I hadn't mourned it really. I was still holding on to this idea. So I woke up that morning, and the morning, not the morning, but the mourning for them came up. So just imagine I'm mourning my Uncle Pip, my Uncle OG, my Uncle Johnny, and my cousin Bernice. And I mean, when I say I wept, dude, I bent over. Because it was just, I couldn't hold it back anymore. So after that experience, I was like, okay, I get what funerals are about. So now fast forward to my senior year in college, my sweet mate, Lamont Madden, passed away from heart disease, right? And we all go to his funeral, same thing, open casket. And he died like, 3 weeks before graduation, 2 weeks before graduation. He was on track to graduate. I go to the funeral, and I'm a pallbearer, and we walk past him. And this is like, I had this moment where I'm standing, I'm looking at him, and then I had to touch him. I had to touch him. So I reach out, I touch him right here. And when I say that it gave me so much closure, because I could feel, what I couldn't feel was I couldn't feel the life, right? Like when you touch someone, you feel that life, that energy that exists within them. But when I touched him, that was gone, right? And it was like, oh, I get it now, right? And that's when that was the epiphany of, like, not the epiphany, but the full understanding of, this is really just a house or a shell, a shell that carries. I want to give it more respect than a shell, but it's something that houses something, right? Our bodies house our life force, our energy, our spirit, whatever you want to call it, right? Once that thing transitions and moves on, then what you have is an empty shell, right? And when you go there and you touch it and you feel it, then you go, oh, okay, yeah, I don't feel that vitality. I don't feel that life. I don't feel that energy. I don't feel that source of energy. And it helped me. When I say it helped me understand, like, okay, the thing that made Lamont who he was, that had moved on. Like that went into the universe, into the world, into heaven, into wherever. It had moved on. And what was left behind was a shell. And so it gave me the feeling of like, oh, I can say goodbye to the shell, right? The shell, that's not who he was. That just housed who he was. So once I was okay with the shell moving on, then energetically I could still feel his spirit around me. So so I've always done, like, from that point forward, when Jamoki passed, I touch him, I go, okay, cool, it's confirmation.
Really? So like, I mean, there's like,
when my mom passed,
on,
same thing. When my mom passed, I did the same thing.
on them, right? So you're not touching skin.
I'm not touching skin, but they still feel, they don't feel, even though you're touching I'm touching my shirt, I can still feel my body.
There'll be a pushback, right?
Yeah. When you touch it, it's just, there's nothing there. It's like, oh, wow. So same thing, I did that with Moki, and I did it with my mom. And it really helps, at least for me, it helps me to fully process.
I don't know, man. Wow. And what made you do it that moment the first time?
Because I had to, it was my way of processing that he wasn't there.
But right? you weren't planning on it. Was it just in the moment thing?
I wasn't planning on it at all. I'm dressed up, like I said, I'm a pallbearer. I had on the gloves, I had on the white gloves. And when I got there, and I touch him, and I realized, I go, oh, he's not here, right? So then I took off one of the gloves, and I put the glove in his casket. And then everybody else after me did the same thing. it was like I still have the other glove. I have one glove here, and the other glove is with him. And then I put a flower in there, and I touched him, and I go, okay, oh, so Lamont isn't here anymore, right? This is just housing
What is this
him.
at the wake? You do this?
No, this was at the actual funeral, because then after that, once the procession goes by and everyone sees him, then they close the casket, and then the pallbearers.
So it was just like you there with the pallbearers when it happened.
No. I was in line. I was lying with everyone else walking by. I took my moment.
Oh, wow.
And then I went and sat down. Then they were like, okay, pallbearers come up. That's when I come up. And that's when I went up and then, grabbed my side of the casket. We walk him to the hearse, put the casket in the hearse. We drive to the funeral site. To the graveyard site, get there, take him out, put him over the hole. And then they drop him down in there. And, and then that's when it's like, it's closure, boy. It's closure.
I do remember like when my dad died, and like I did the eulogy, and people were loving it. I was getting laughs. And
Nice.
then but then it really hit me when they closed the casket, and then I was a pallbearer walking it out of the church, and then I just started breaking down, because that's when it hit me, because then you're right, like that's when it's really final. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, with my mom, and shout out to my friends at home. Marcus flew out to Birmingham. I'll never forget that. He's golden in my book for life for that. Marcus flew out.
He's golden in mine for taking me to that Cavs Clippers game.
There you go. He's worth it. My boy Billy was there. Lamar was there. And then I had a couple cousins that helped out. But the time that it really hit me, because I gave at my mom's funeral, the pastor did the whole service, and it was amazing, right? And then I went up and said some words. And we're performers, so we're used to being up in front of people and at a microphone. And I said some things, and I thought I was really funny, but there were a lot of people who were kind of like, okay, and they couldn't really let go of their grief to like laugh in that moment. But it was fine. It was appropriate. It wasn't inappropriate at all. But it really hit me. It hit me several times, right? It hit me several times because I was in charge of everything, picking out a casket, picking out flowers, picking out a time, a location. Like there were so many things I had to do logistically that it was hard to grieve all the time. But I had moments in between where I would grieve. I make it through the service and everything. And the time that it hit me was we get to the funeral site, and my mom has a mausoleum. So we didn't put her in the ground. We put her in a wall, right? Like she has a placard on the wall. Yeah. We get there, and as I'm, as we take her from the hearse to the thing that's going to lift her up to put her inside, that's when I broke down. Because then at that moment, that's when I was like, oh, wow, this is the last time. This is the last time that I will do anything in service to my mom, right?
Right.
Anything. Everything else after this is done. This is the last thing I'll do in service to her. The last time I will touch this casket will be this close to her in a certain way. And at the funeral site, at the grave site, that's when I broke down again. And I really, but my brothers were there, man. I swear they came over and, they were patting me on my back and holding me up. And yeah, man, it was a moment, but it allowed me to have that closure, right? To give me that space to acknowledge and be present in that moment and understand the gravity of the moment, and then to process it to some degree, and then be able to move on from it. And I have no regrets, right? In regards to my mom and her trying to grant her wishes, her last wishes in her life, and giving her what she wanted. She and I talked about what suit she wanted to wear. I was able to pick out the suit that she wanted to be buried in, like, fulfill her wishes. And then that was the last part of it.
So, wow, man.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Well, I hope you're all happy while we bummed you out after this.
No, there's no bumming out, dude. Death is a part of this. No, there's no bumming out. Death is, listen, to all the listeners out there, death is a part of this. It's inevitable. It's coming, right? It's not what happens to you, but it's how you choose to. Yeah, it's coming. It's not what happens to you, but it's about how you choose to handle it, right? I know that it's hard for a lot of people to accept death and dying and passing, but once you realize that it's a natural part of the process, and if you've done your part, you've said everything you said, and you're at peace with it, then it's easier to accept. So I would say find your peace with it, and you can always speak to them. just because they're not here physically doesn't mean that you can't still talk to them and say what you need to say. So
all right, so I want to promote my my friend's he got this fundraiser for his son who passed away from suicide, and like they're trying to raise money, and they only got 3 more days. So I've got I'm putting it up now, but these are the shirts. They just say mental health matters. They got a little butterfly, a lotus, and a ribbon, and the number 988, which is the new thing they changed. Instead of calling 911 and having to deal with cops, you could call 988, and they supposedly, I mean, it's still in the system, but they'll have trained professionals to try and take your calls or whatever.
oh wow, that's great. I never heard
So
that
yeah,
before.
yeah, they
So
just came out this year.
okay.
I'm gonna put a link though for
So just to be clear, for anyone out there who's listening, if you know someone who's having a mental health crisis and who's threatened to hurt themselves, don't call 911, call 988. They should have professionals standing by who can help you
now I think some
with that
people
particular.
because people before this, and some people worry that can we see it now? Do you see the so this is the website for people who want to buy a shirt. It's at Bonfire. So bonfire.com/mental-health-matters-shemo, SHEMO. That's where they're selling the shirts. So they're doing a fundraiser they're doing a scholarship in his name.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Well, sorry for the loss. How old was he?
I was a freshman in high school.
Oh man, a freshman in high school.
Yeah,
Jeez.
dude.
So young. So
Bullying and
young.
probably, I don't know, but yeah. So support that, get that out there, and yeah, man.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah. So anybody out there who's having a mental health crisis or know someone who is, please, support, and also, keep that number in the back of your mind. There is help out there
988.
available.
So World Cup, Reg. I've been watching
Yeah.
World Cup. It's on every day.
Mhm.
it's a good background thing, dude. You could put it on. You could listen to. It's like baseball. It's slow. A lot of times I'm looking down on my computer, and I look up and I missed the damn goal. So I'm like,
Oh, wait. Hold on. There's only like
missed.
one goal a game.
Oh, it's not
One-
many. There's very few. Though
one or
I will
two.
say,
One
I saw
or two,
Spain
maybe.
last week put up
Okay.
7.
They scored 7 goals.
7 goals, Spain. I think it
Wait,
was
who were
like
they playing?
7-0 on Costa Rica.
Costa Rica will no longer be invited to the World Games going forward. You can't
But
give
then
up
Costa
7
Rica
goals,
went
bro.
and won the next their game. So they upset their team. So you never know. It's 90 minutes, man. Anything can happen. There's been a lot of upsets.
Maybe Costa Rica
so far.
just having a bad day. They're just having a bad day. They gave up 7 goals. The goalie, they must have switched out the goalie. Somebody look. Luckily, the game wasn't at home.
Well, here's the thing, man. Spain's good. There's some really good countries. Spain's good. Germany's good. France is good. Argentina is still good. Argentina caught a lot of shit this week because Messi and his team lost the opening game, right? But then they won their next one 2-1, and yeah, dude, Messi was on, dude. He saw him put a goal right in. He just like they're so quick with the kick. When you see it, and then you find like, okay, I get it, y'all. I get it, and the clock constantly runs, so there's no commercials, which is really refreshing, actually. And it's just like, there's and I'm like, well, if I could make changes to speed up the sport, and they're like, well, first off, sport's been around for over 100 years. We don't need your expertise.
Yeah, exactly. Look, the game is what it is. The game is what it is.
But
man.
the damn offsides is a thing, and then they could have up to like 10, 11 guys in the box, so it gets too convoluted and too crowded, so it slows. That's why there's no offense in this game.
Right.
Like in football, NFL football, you want to get behind the defense to get the touchdown. In soccer, that's a foul. That's a penalty. That's offsides. You're not allowed to get behind them.
You have crazy.
You can't pass it. You can't pass it to him if there's anyone, to your guy, if he's behind the line.
Right.
That's offside.
Right.
So
right.
It's very, and then the frustrating thing is though, there's something that's like right there, and they'll score a goal, and then they're like, nope, 10 seconds earlier there was this offsides, and then they got this whole digital screen to show, and it's like, it's a little touchy at times. That part's a little But
well, and all the flopping. Every time someone gets hit,
there's a
they're,
lot of fucking flopping, dude. I put
every
something on my Twitter. I was like, is this football or flop ball?
flop ball. I think it's called flop. Anybody get bumped. This is the thing. They're running and you go boom. The guy goes,
Yeah, and they're always flopping in the box because they're trying to get a penalty kick.
yes, it's yeah. I mean, but I enjoy the game. I do. It can be a
I will
little
say
tough to
this
watch.
though, soccer players are at a disadvantage where, if they fall and they're grimacing in pain, you always see them fall, my shin, right? So, it doesn't it doesn't look too tough. But
Right.
NFL players, they're covered in football helmets and shoulder pads. You're not
Yeah.
seeing them. These guys, it's just them. You're just
Yeah, it's
seeing
just
them.
them. And look, these guys all have really strong legs and they're kicking
Yeah.
stuff all the time. So I legitimately
Exhausted.
believe, yeah, and they're tired. I mean, I
Their
think you get
shins are
kicked in
getting
the
fucked
shin.
up.
Yeah, your
Yeah,
shins,
that hurts.
they have shin guards, but your shins get messed up, man. I feel it. You get kicked in the leg, that joint hurts for real.
There's a lot of flopping though.
But but the problem is you see so often, you see the guy like, oh, and then they give the guy the card and he goes, okay, all right, let's go.
Yeah. They're like, 30 seconds later, he's
30
running
seconds
around
later.
up the goddamn field.
It's like, dude, I thought we were gonna have to call you on a gurney and get a doctor and bring out a medic and do a whole thing. And then now you're like, oh, score, like running and you're sliding on your knees. I'm like, oh, come on, which one is it, dude? Right. But yo, in those countries where football reigns supreme, hey man, the dedication and devotion to football and the games, there are people who've been killed after games because they missed a score or they let some other team score.
Yeah, that's
like,
a little crazy.
Yo, that's crazy. They will hunt you down, bro. Like, if you're on a soccer team or a football team and you gave up the winning score and your country lost and was eliminated and you let the thing get by, you don't leave. When you leave the stadium, you don't go home. You go directly to the airport and you have a bag with a passport and money and a visa to go to another country.
Get out, bro.
Yeah, get out. Because if you go home, you will get killed.
Speaking of the US, we got to talk about, I guess the US had the first game they tied Wales, the second game they tied England, which everyone still says is like a win. So we have to win Iran Tuesday morning.
When is that game?
We win tomorrow, Tuesday morning. Okay. I think like at 10 or 11 a.m. Pacific. But if the US wins, they're in. If they lose, they're out. If they draw, they're out. I think they have to win.
They have to win. Okay, so all right. Well, the good thing about being on the men's US national soccer team or whatever, is that if you lose in the World Cup, you can still go home, and no one's gonna kill you. And unfortunately, in this country, no one might not even know.
No, they won't even know who you are when you land.
They don't even know who you are, really, which is kind of sad.
You want to play for this team. You're like, it's safe over there.
No one even knows. I can go play in. I mean, it's so crazy, man, because we have so many sports, right? Like for a lot of countries, obviously football represents their entire country and they're behind that 100%. Over here, we are so segmented. Like we're not worried about the World Cup and the soccer team representing us as a country. We're like, yo, Cleveland against Minnesota.
No, or Tampa yesterday.
Tampa,
Brownies won. Tampa Bay. But Brownies beat Brady, baby.
Yeah, we're too busy worried about the small locations.
Well, here's a little trivia for you, Reg.
Okay.
The World Cup started in 1930. The US was in the very first World Cup.
Okay.
So what is it now? 2022. How many World Cups has the United States won?
None. No, I'll say
correct.
None. Okay, none. I was gonna say
Zippo, baby, 0.
Yeah. Well, because for us, if we have won one World Cup for this country,
you would hear about it every day.
Oh, we hear about like we're the best in the world. Like, well, you won once.
1946.
Exactly. 1946. we were number one. We're number one.
Well, yeah, I think they were 1930, and then yeah, I think the next one was 1950. We had a tie versus England, and so yeah, they haven't been in it much in the 90s. Now the women, I think they've won at least two. Megan Rapinoe has two. They might have won three actually. Let me.
Okay.
But yeah, so good job there. You figured out the men's US team.
Thank you. Well, once again, I hate to say it, but the World Cup is kind of like the Olympics, right? Like you can be an Olympic gold medalist, right? And in this country, they'd be like, yeah, well, that's cool. You want a gold medal? Yeah, all right. You won that against the other country's best. Have you won an NBA championship? Did you win a Super Bowl? Have you won the World Series? It's like when you win something that we do here, then you can talk to me about that. But 5-time gold medal winner. Okay, whatever.
Well, Megan Rapinoe actually, she has two, but they have four. The U.S. women's has four.
Okay,
and more than anyone else.
And that's
no, dude. I think an Olympic medal though is pretty dope. Bro.
Look. I've been around an Olympic medal.
I got
and held. I've held it. That joy is real. I've held a gold, put it around my neck, had access to it. It was amazing. And energetically, you go, wow, this piece of metal is representative of beating the best in the world.
Yeah.
Right. And so to hold that carries a lot of weight. But also considering, the way we play sports and the people that we're gathering everyone's best. So arguably the NBA or whatever it is, we're taking other countries' best players and bringing them here to compete. So we're already competing against the best in the world on a regular basis. Right. So I get the difference between the two, but hey, dude, holding that gold medal, feeling that gold medal, wearing that gold medal, there was a sense of pride. I was like, for the first time in my life, I might have been like, USA, USA. USA. You ever see
the movie Race, the story of Jesse Owens, man? And there's a great part in it where Sudeikis, and they're talking about the record, and he goes, Sudeikis is like his coach, right? And Jason Sudeikis, he's like, people don't remember the records, they remember medals.
Yes. I saw that. It was really good.
It was so good. And in Berlin, the coolest thing, Jesse Owens, like initially he broke possibly really four, but they only counted 3 world records in like 45 minutes. Jeez. When he was in college in Ohio State. And then, he went to Germany and he stuck it to fucking Hitler, who was like, the white men are superior athletes. And he won 4 fucking gold medals, rubbed his face in it.
And
that guy
got up and walked out.
And that German guy who helped him, who with the sand and all that, the Germans were pissed. They sent him to the front lines, and he ended up dying in the war.
Jeez, that's right. That's right, man. Those Germans were. I mean, back then, not all the Germans now. Germans now are cool, but back then, boy, it was.
All right, Reg, close us out, buddy.
It was tough. Okay, all right, folks. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Spitballin. We always enjoy it. And we're going to keep doing it. So please, if you've enjoyed it, please like, subscribe, and share. And let's get this thing popping. Happy holidays to everyone. And got another holiday coming up. We'll talk about that one soon. But with that being said, that's Sal Kalani. I'm Reggie Steele. And this is Spitballin'. Peace.